The year 2024 has seen economic development by the country and investments in sectors such as infrastructural development, energy, health, as well as the information and publicity sector. As 2024 winds down, we sit down with the government spokesperson, who is also the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Jenfan Muswere, to highlight these successful strides by the Second Republic. Now, Honourable Minister, to kickstart our conversation, what have been the major strides for the year?
Thank you, Olin. Some of the major achievements that we've registered for the year 2024 includes monetary and fiscal policy consolidation as we journey towards an upper middle income society, economic empowerment achievements that we have registered under the presidential title deeds program, the land tenure system that is just recently been launched by His Excellency the President, Dr. Idim Nangagwa, structural and governance reforms, and also acceleration of the devolution agenda in order to ensure that the challenges within respective jurisdictions are also aligned to financial capacitation by central government. The re-engagement and engagement strategy has been a huge success, in particular in terms of image building. And at the same time, industrial utilization capacitation, which has been on the positive side. Domestic and foreign direct investment has also been very key for the year 2024, as focus had been on triple P projects, focusing primarily on a number of infrastructure initiatives, which also includes Cabinet's decision to approve the Forbes border post modernization projects, a number of roads and infrastructure initiatives, which also includes plus 40,000 kilometers in terms of drainage works, in terms of regraveling, in terms of resealing of roads, in terms of many other infrastructure initiatives, both by the central government and also through private public partnerships across all the 10 provinces. And also what is of key importance is also the 2024-2025 agricultural season, which has grown by more than 300%, which also reflects government's commitment in terms of ensuring that we achieve in terms of food security. Yes, we've been affected here and there by the drought, which is environmentally induced. So the focus for the year 2024 is that we've registered under the 100 cycle projects another 346 projects, which has got a lot of positive, life-changing impact in terms of poverty alleviation and also in terms of macroeconomic growth. So these are some of the achievements that we have registered in the year 2024. The hosting also of the 44th SADC Summit, which is one of the conical tower achievements, as Zimbabwe also took over the chairmanship of the regional bloc, which is SADC, which also adds to the success of our engagement and re-engagement strategy. In terms of the growth of the mining sector, we've registered positive economic growth, also including value addition initiatives that have been introduced by central government under the leadership of President Idim Nangagwa. You know, in terms of fundamental economics, one of the key aspects related to the means of production is ownership and land. So what His Excellency the President has precisely done is to ensure that before the year 2030, there is total economic empowerment of Zimbabweans through the Presidential Title Deeds Program, which will contribute towards macroeconomic growth in terms of the GDP. Because we have so many houses in our country with no title deeds. This becomes collateral and also becomes a financial instrument that can unlock billions of dollars for our economy. So that is the first initiative that His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, has achieved. The second aspect is the land tenure system, which is going to unlock billions of dollars for the financial and agricultural sector, as this is a direct economic empowerment initiative to war veterans, to the youth, to women, and to many other farmers across all the 10 provinces, which will also align in terms of the food security modality that is being championed by His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa. Yes, other initiatives also include the Pfumvudza project and program, which has been one of the key social welfare initiatives and agricultural program that has ensured that we have achieved food security at household level and also the growth of the agricultural sector. The coming on board of agroecological regions and also the damming infrastructure projects across the country has also supported agricultural growth in our country, and at the same time has also ensured that we've created so many other millionaires in our country, be it youth, be it women. The agricultural mechanization initiative, which is being run jointly by the Ministry of Agriculture, working together with the government of Belarus, has also ensured that women, youth, and many other farmers have got access to mechanical power, and also the commercialization of agricultural activities across the country. The village business unit is also one of the initiatives that is under the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, and is ensured that we eradicate poverty in all the country's 10 provinces.
You hinted on 100 dice cycle projects as a tool that is used by His Excellency the President to measure performances of ministries and ensure accountability. Can you highlight for us some of those achievements?
Basically, what happens is that the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, in his custody, is an electronic executive dashboard system which monitors projects across all ministries, and with a major focus on ensuring that these particular projects should have a positive impact, focusing primarily on poverty alleviation, on macroeconomic growth, on the transformation of value chains, and at the same time nationally focusing on macroeconomic growth. So some of these projects are developed by the respective ministry, working together with the particular sector leaders and the particular population within a certain geography. And this has seen a total transformation in terms of poverty alleviation, in terms of the 2030 journey, where we seek to ensure that we need an upper middle income society which is empowered. So some of the social clusters also includes the housing projects that have been taking place across the country, the hospitals that have been constructed in all districts, the economic activities that have been taking place, the sports facilities that are also being developed across the country. For His Excellency has directed that what gets measured gets done. So these 100-day cycles are continuously implemented across the year. And so far we've registered a total of 346 successful projects that have been implemented across the country, thereby ensuring that we leave no one and no place behind. So a number of these projects have had a lot of positive impact, especially when we numerically analyze since the inception of the new dispensation that has been a game changer, where ministries have got an opportunity to identify the projects. They go through cabinet processes, they are approved, and at the end of the cycle, a team does the monitoring and evaluation to see the actual impact in terms of the implementation modalities. Some of the projects also includes the implementation of the National E-Learning Strategy, which has been a success in terms of computerization of educational institutions, both in primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, in order to allow all Zimbabweans to be part of the digital economy. So a number of initiatives have been put in place in order to support macroeconomic growth and also in order to ensure that by 2030, each and every Zimbabwean should have contributed to nation building.
What measures gets done, as you have said, and earlier you hinted that thousands of kilometers of roads have been resurfaced, have been rehabilitated under the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program. Honorable Minister, can you take us through some of the infrastructural drive that have been taken by the past year by His Excellency the President in terms of driving the country forward?
So much has been achieved in a short space of time. So much modernization has taken place within a short space of time. And as I indicated, that thousands of kilometers have been achieved in the first National Development Strategy 1, and the capping has been done in 2024. That more than 40,000 in terms of drainage works, in terms of road rehabilitation, in terms of road construction, in terms of road rehabilitation, in terms of the infrastructure development that is taking place, the modernization of the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport is a signature project. The construction of a number of roads, tarred roads across the country. The Mashingo Bike Bridge Road and the Mashingo Harare dualization project, which is currently ongoing, which is plus 90% in terms of completion, and many other road infrastructure initiatives. The construction of more than 100 bridges as part of an ecosystem, which ecosystem is very key in terms of macroeconomic growth, in terms of foreign direct investment, and also in terms of domestic investment in our country. Plus 700,000 houses have been achieved under the NDS 1. So to cap it all, one of the newest technological and engineering marvel is the development of the Trabablas interchange, which is an engineering marvel. Is one of the achievements in terms of the year 2024. So many projects have been achieved in terms of the damming infrastructure in order to achieve food security for us as a country.
And talking of success stories and the tourism sector and the growth of it, the Zimbo mantra has been all over the place. Can you unpack for us the success of the tourism recovery plan and the aspiration of selling and talking about brand Zimbabwe?
We've registered a lot of success in terms of the tourism sector, which is now number 3 in terms of contributing so much to our GDP as a country. We've registered more numbers in terms of domestic and international tourist arrivals in our country, but not only in terms of numbers, but also in terms of the amount of money that is being utilized by each and every tourist. From an average of 1,500 United States dollars per tourist, we're now averaging 2,000 United States dollars per person, but also a total shift in terms of duration, in terms of the number of days that each and every international tourist has been in a position to move the average from a number of 3 days to an average of 5 days. All this is mainly because of the peace and tranquility that we have in our country, the natural tourist attractions that we have in our country. The big five is all within the geography of Zimbabwe, but also the infrastructure in terms of the tourism industry that has seen a number of hotels, lodges, and also the infrastructure initiatives in terms of the modernization of Zimbabwe's airports across the country and the road infrastructure in terms of the tourism and the generality of the economy. So all these have positively added to the growth of the tourism industry. Gastronomy is one of the crowd and tourism pullers, which has ensured that both domestic and international tourism is augmented as we seek to ensure that we achieve a $5 billion tourism industry.
And looking at the environment, we saw in the last quarter of 2024, Zimbabwe was showcased in the global Top Gear program, speaking to the peaceful environment that the country holds. What does this environment speak towards the vision of an upper middle income society?
Yes, for us to be able to host such a number of programs and to be able to run the gastronomy project, which is the first in Africa, it is mainly because of the political leadership. The political leadership that has been supported mainly by the president, Dr. Edim Mnangagwa, who has ensured that peace is of paramount importance, who has also ensured that for the economy to grow, international capital, foreign direct investment, and also domestic investment is of paramount importance. So within the context of our dignity, within the context of our culture, Zimbabweans are generally peaceful people with no relationship to violence. So all this is because of the leadership and also because of the security architecture in our country, which is highly disciplined, which is ensured that we've got law and order in our country.
Turning to your portfolio, the Ministry of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, what are some of the policy interventions that are in place to grow the sector?
So many policy and legislative programs that are taking place because the Constitution obligates us to focus primarily on freedom of the media, freedom of expression, and access to information. So the paramount and most important aspects related to constitutional obligation. The first step that the new dispensation undertook was the repeal of IPA, which was in many quarters within the media fraternity regarded as draconian. The second step was to bring into place legislation such as the Freedom of Information Act, the Zimbabwe Media Commission Act, and many other statutory instruments in order to support diversity, in order to support freedom of expression, in order to support access to information. So all these initiatives that were put in place are to support the constitutional requirements, which constitutional requirements we have done extremely well. For the year 2024, as I've indicated and way back, no journalist has been arrested in our country. And this speaks to freedom of expression, this speaks to the integrity and the role of the media fraternity in terms of nation building. But also a number of platforms that we've provided as a ministry in order to ensure that there's transparency and accountability as we journey towards an upper middle income society. Some of the initiatives also includes the post-cabinet briefing sessions that we have almost in each and every week, where we have members from the fourth estate asking questions, clarifying issues on a number of issues. We also have the ministerial sessions, the accounting officer sessions, and the president has been very open and transparent. He engages regularly with the media. We also have the provincial media tours that we have embarked on, where members of the fourth estate have an opportunity to visit many provinces in our country to get to see the success in terms of the achievements under the leadership of President Idi Mnangagwa. We also have many other sessions that we have held with members of the fourth estate, which also includes the cabinet meets the media sessions and many other sessions. We've been very open. So this is mainly because of the new disposition towards the media, and also in terms of fulfilling the constitutional obligations of our country.
How would you describe the media environment?
We've seen the liberalization of the media. We've also seen a lot of openness and transparency, where we engage members of the fourth estate on any subject that they may seek to clarify. An open door policy and a servant leadership model, which has allowed any member from the media fraternity to be able to approach the ministry, and also the strengthening of the Zimbabwe Media Commission as a Chapter 12 institution, which is independent, and also the development of the Zimbabwe Media Commission Act in order to strengthen and consolidate in terms of the freedom of expression, the protection of journalists, and also the conduct of journalists. So these are some of the achievements. And for 2024, we've also managed for the first time to come up with an integrated policy, which is the media and communication policy, which will run from 2025 to 2030. It also speaks to the recognition of journalists as professionals, and the conduct of journalists, the ethics, the ethos, and many other issues related to the growth and the robustness of the media industry. We're currently working on 3 pieces of legislation. The Media Practitioners Bill, whose principles have just been approved by Cabinet and is now at the Attorney General's office. We're also working on the amendments in terms of the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12.06, which also seeks to ensure that there is modernization, there is investment, and at the same time that we align the Broadcasting Services Act to the vehicle registration legislation in order to deal with the legislative lacuna that it ensured that the national broadcaster, in terms of contribution by motor vehicle users, by the generality of Zimbabweans, had not been properly managed and aligned in terms of resource mobilization. So we're also dealing with the strengthening and consolidation of the Zimbabwe Media Commission amendments, which seek to entrench independence, which seek also to ensure that the conduct of members of the fourth estate is properly governed in the interests of the growth of the media industry. So these are some of the policy and legislative interventions.
Looking at total empowerment and the growth of the ministry, as I alluded earlier, can you unpack for us the second phase of the Zim Digital Drive?
Yes, the Zim Digital program had started in earnest, but the relaunch will take place in 2025, which will see us in a position to be able to implement the digital infrastructure master plan, which will achieve media sovereignty for us as a country, but also in particular the amendments also to the broadcasting services amendments that are going through parliamentary processes. They also speak to heritage-based broadcasting, in that all the 16 recognized languages in terms of the Constitution of Zimbabwe will have support in terms of content and production. because the major focus is to ensure that we leave no one and no place behind. So the Zim Digital project has received funding in this last quarter of 2024, and the implementation modalities are taking place in order to ensure that we have all the transmitters and equipment in place. And the major priority is to start with the border areas for us to be able to achieve technological and media sovereignty for our people, thereby ensuring that we leave no one and no place behind as we journey towards an upper middle income society. For an informed, knowledgeable society is very key to nation building.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for taking the time out to speak to us, not only as the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, but as government spokesperson on the journey towards Vision 2030.
Thank you.
This was a conversation we have just had with the Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, who is also the government spokesperson on the strides government has recorded for the year 2024 and the journey towards Vision 2030.